The Wednesday week is sponsored by Bentoria.com. That's BENTORIA.com.
There's a chance here, a great save, a turner from McClare. Might come, a terrific goal by Sheridan.
Brexman against Jones. Get in.
You could have two goalkeepers in there that would have trouble saving that.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to the Wednesday week, the Sheffield Wednesday podcast. I'm Lord Hillsborough, and with me on the line today, first of all, we have James. Hi there, James, old boy.
Hello, I am doing the podcast this evening without a beer. I would love to tell you it's because I'm doing dry January. It's not. It's because the last 2 days I've drunk more beer than I probably should have done.
I thought he was going to say without my pants. Fudge, how the devil are you, my darling?
I'm very good, Lord Hillsborough. Bonjour, comment star, and whatnot. Comment star is not French, is it? Hang on. Bonjour, mon British tunes. I'm feeling quite Gaelic today, and when I say Gaelic, I don't mean some kind of, as Ali G put it, batty language. I mean French.
How very PC of you, Albin. And Victoria, how the devil are you, my darling?
Bonjour, my lord.
Ah, c'est combien pour la nuit, mon petit frère?
Oh, je suis le pantalon.
So.
I am the trousers.
It'll all become
everybody.
clear. I'll be so incredibly French later on, ladies and gentlemen. But for the time being, let's crack on, because we've got a cracking amount of news to get through this week. So let's start with the Fulham game, shall we? Of course, third time we've played them so far, and it's been rather lovely, hasn't it?
I do not understand why someone didn't start a "Can we play you every week" chant, because it would have been perfect. It really would. Yeah, we won the game. You know, that was the important thing. We won the game. It wasn't a classic football match. It wasn't beautiful football or anything like that. It was a bit scrappy. It wasn't the most entertaining game in the world, but you know what? We did the job and we're through to the fourth round. That's all that matters.
I think Fulham clearly did their homework from when we played them down at the Cottage for when we got back, and I think it wasn't until Banan smashed in an absolute peach that all of a sudden it was game on. We knew that they had a threat going forward, and I was concerned that we might have caught them on an off day when we were in that London, but no, transpires we're pretty bloody good at home. Have you seen our home record recently? Smashing.
Amazing.
One sort of issue we do seem to have, which of course we'll come on to in a moment or two as well, is this switching off after we've scored. It's not been brilliant at the moment, has it?
No, we're at that sort of point, and this reminds me of, do you remember when Tottenham appointed Ozzy Ardiles as manager and they brought in Klinsmann and loads of other players, and their first game was at Hillsborough and they beat us 4-3, and Ozzy Ardiles in his post-match interview said, well, I'd rather win every game 4-3 than win it 1-0. And it feels a little bit like that at the moment with Wednesday. We know we're going to have to score 2 or 3 goals in order to win a match, because we do have that little tendency to switch off and let in a silly goal or two. And it was happening earlier in the season. We seem to tighten up a bit. But I think what we've got to remember is we're having to make quite a lot of changes to our back four from week to week. We've not had a settled centre-half pairing for a while. We're having to play different people at fullback, so it's not been very settled. So maybe that's kind of the reason that those silly little goals are slipping in. I seem to say this every week, but we as fans have now got to just put our faith in Carlos that he's going to see what's going wrong there and do what needs to be done to sort that one out.
No, absolutely. And of course, had it been any other week, had it been a normal game, had we not seen this so many times, the goal from Bannon is just incredible. It's absolutely unbelievable, and it's becoming standard now, isn't it?
Do you know what?
Wow.
Do you know what I miss at Hillsborough? Right, I miss a 3-yard tackle. I think we are being
we don't do them anymore.
spoiled. No, we are being spoiled big time at the moment. At some point, it's all going to go to shit. But at the moment, it's just unreal, isn't it? Every single game is like a goal of the season competition. And it's obviously a bit of banter between the players as well. As we saw, obviously, we're not there yet, but last night against Bolton, it's just crazy. The goals are unbelievable.
I think we're going to end up like Newcastle under Kevin Keegan. Kevin Keegan in the 90s spoilt them, and to be fair, they're pretty pish, and they always have been. They've just got this decent fan base, and that's what we're going to get. You know what our fans are like. Christ, all of a sudden we'll score a 3-yard tap in. It'll be Forestier is rubbish. Carlos out. You know what we're like. I'm warning you, kids. It's coming.
Now, of course, that all went incredibly well, and the draw happened, and of course we shall be visiting Shrewsbury in the next round, which is, again, I beg to say it might be a little bit of a banana skin, that one, might it?
I spoke to a Shrewsbury fan on Monday evening. I don't know one, but I was playing five-a-side football, and I had the owl shirt on, and a guy came up to me and said, "We've just been talking about you." I went, "What, me? I don't know you." He went, "No, Sheffield Wednesday." Oh, soz. And I got into a great chat with him. We were actually late kicking off because I was still talking to their goalkeeper for 10 minutes. And he was saying that the general consensus is that they're actually quite looking forward to playing us. I know that there was a few Shrewsbury fans on Twitter that were, we didn't get the big club that we wanted and all this, which is it's an attitude towards a cup draw that I just don't understand. I know some of our fans are like it as well. The ones where we go, we wanted Chelsea at home, and I'd rather play Shrewsbury and get further on in the cup. Wouldn't anybody else? I mean, why do we want a big team that's going to batter us 7-1 like City did?
It's one of those modern football questions, isn't it? It really is. Do we want to concentrate on the league, which I'm sure we'll all tweet if we lose? Do we want to have a cup run, which we all know how fantastic and magical it can be, because one of the last things that a lot of us have got to cling on to is the Rumbros, which was just brilliant, wasn't it?
I have mixed feelings about us getting Shrewsbury in the 4th round. I'm quite pleased because I've never been to Shrewsbury, so I'm quite looking forward to going. And one thing that we don't get too much of in the Championship is those proper old stadiums, a rickety old away day. But I have arranged a night out on the evening of that game because I obviously thought we were at home to Burnley. So I've arranged a night out, so I'm going to have to rush back. So I'm a bit, torn in two directions there.
How awfully, awfully nasty of them not to take your plans into consideration. It's just not on, James.
If they'd like to maybe move it to maybe the Friday night game, that could work. That'd give me time to have a bit of a sleep before the night out. Or even if just make it a lunchtime kickoff on the Saturday, that'd be great.
We'll have their people call your people. Oh boy.
Cool, make it happen, make it so.
And of course,
I am his people. We do realise that, don't we?
So, of course, after the Fulham game, we also had the visit of Bolton, which on the podcast, again, we were slightly wary about. We have had Mr. Greedo, who, when we played Charlton, said, this should be a walkover. When we played MK Dons, he said, this should be a walkover. And we ended up with a slight amount of egg on our faces with those ones. So I think we were a little bit more cautious about this, although secretly we all thought it should have been a walkover, shouldn't we? And it turned out it really wasn't, was it?
They were really good. Do you know what? As far as Championship teams go this season that we faced at home, they've got to be in the top 5. They were actually, they had skill. They were Gary Medine. Who the chuff in hell have they got up front? He was unbelievable. He won
I've never seen him before.
Header. It's just, he won more headers last night than his entire Wednesday career times 10. He was just unreal last night. He was really, really good. And that Wellington Silva as well, he was awesome. He won their man of the match, actually.
He looks apparently like a player, that boy, doesn't he?
I think he's on loan from Arsenal. Am I right in saying Arsenal? It sounds like something he'd eat on a Sunday lunch, like a bit of Wellington Silva. But he was brilliant. They were great. I can't fault them. There was the odd sloppy pass and whatever else that you'd expect. But I cannot see, apart from financially, I cannot see why they are where they are.
There is the argument to be had, and please, Bolton fans, I don't know why you've been listening, but if you are, I don't mean this disrespectfully in the slightest. There was reports that there was rather a lot of scouts in the Hillsborough stands because, again, a lot of their players are up for sale at the moment. So if they're trying to sort of get in the shop window, they're going to be playing the socks off at the moment, aren't they?
That would make sense, wouldn't it? Because they really did turn up last night, and they're. I'm guessing the whole feeling around that club at the moment is pretty rotten. 400 fans turning out for what's not actually that long a trip across the Pennines over here. I thought that was quite a poor turnout from them. But their players, they really did do the business, and there were times where we were really under the cosh in that game, and I think on paper you'd look at it and say, oh well, 3-2 is not a great win. We should be walking all over teams like Bolton, but we said this a few times at the match last night. There's no such thing as an easy win in the Championship. It doesn't matter. Some games you'll win more easily than others, but you're going to have to work hard for every single 3 points that you get. So I thought it was a really important win because it was a scrappy game, and it was the kind of game that we had to win a little bit ugly. We've talked about this earlier on in the season about kind of winning games where it's a bit more of a scrappier match, and there's times in the past where they're the games where we've just not really been able to get anything. So I was dead pleased that we did get the 3 points last night. Mention for Hooper's second goal, our third, which just came completely out of the blue, and I think that's something that you can only get with a player of real quality like Hooper is. No disrespect to someone like Atty, but I wouldn't imagine him scoring that kind of goal. That's the kind of thing that only someone like Gary Hooper can do, which was brilliant. And a very special mention here to the Bolton fans, all 400 of them that turned up, who I think, we've had 3 contenders for goal of the season already after two weeks of January. We've now had a contender for best chant of 2016 for when and it sounded like they started off by singing, "How shit must you be, we're drawing away," which then morphed into "How shit must you be, it's Gary Medine," after he scored, which was superb. So, a big thumbs up to the Bolton fans for that.
Again, it seems ridiculous because we should be just screaming from the rooftops about this. But again, Messi. See, I think that's a Freudian slip.
Same thing. Keep going.
But Fessi's goal, it was just incredible, wasn't it? We are so spoiled. It's like we're not mentioning it as much as we should do. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
It was brilliant. My mate that sit next to Tom, when Fessy hit that shot, he went ugh, because it just looked like it was going almost out of the stadium. It looked like it was way off target. And somehow it just nestled in the top corner. It was a perfect goal and brilliant. And you're right that because we've had 2 other worldlies in the last kind of week and a half, we almost take it for granted, don't we? It's almost just like, oh yeah, it's another great goal. Brilliant.
I think it's one of the. Well, I mean, if you think of the worldies that we've scored, the Wallace, Matthias.
Just before we carry on, I think we'll not call them worldies anymore. That's boring. We've now got #Thunderchuffers. Okay.
Thunderchuffers. Sorry, my lord.
Thank you.
Thunderchuffers. Because we've scored 4 decent Thunderchuffers in the last few months, and we've got Wallace, Matthias, Bannon, and now Forestieri. I think Forestieris was one of, if not the best of the 4, and I tell you for why. It's because if you look at Wallace and Matthias and Bannon, they were all on the run. Do you know what I mean? They hit the ball in their stride, and Christ, don't let me take anything away from them. I think that they were outstanding goals, but they're more of a slap compared to Messi. It was kind of only cantering and just whip one in, and it's
even
exactly
you're
where
calling
he
him
wanted to
Messi
put
now.
it.
That's brilliant. We're all just calling him Messi.
I
Let's
called him
blend it
Messi
in.
to a Watford fan earlier tonight on Periscope. He looked at me as if to go, you didn't get Messi off us. How have you got Messi? But yeah, I think Forestieri's goal was where he wanted to put it, and it wasn't just, for lack of a better term, a slap. Do you know what I mean?
No, exactly what you mean, old boy. There was no sort of movement from. We've seen it from a couple of times this season where it can hit a ball stood still beautifully with so much power at the same time, and it's incredible. And we really are just utterly spoiled, as Victoria mentioned earlier. Of course, we did that switch off thing again, and just a couple of minutes later, Medine scored his goal. Yes, Medine was brilliant on the night. How much he knew about that goal, I think he just bounced off him, really, more than anything else. Of course, the old adage, you've got to be in the right place at the right time, and that's what strikers do, make sure they're in that right place. So fair play. And again, the second goal, you mentioned the third, but the second goal, the pass from Nuhu on that second goal.
Unbelievable.
Oh,
Brilliant.
my word.
Brilliant.
World class, that was, Dave. World class.
Really was, and altogether it was I thought a fantastic game of football. It really was a bit of a thunderchuck for itself.
I really, really feel for Bolton. I mean, I spoke to the Burnden Aces this week because Eddie is too busy skiing, as you do, hashtag middle class problems. I spoke to them, did a little interview with them, and one of their questions was about Medine. And I was like, do you know what? Off the pitch, I could slate him until the cows come home from what happened as far as we know in the press. Don't get me wrong, don't know the guy personally. But last night, he looked like the player that we used to have. And I only wish, for Bolton's sake, he could do that every week because they'd be in a much better position than they are now. And I've got a real soft spot for Bolton. I always have done.
I will second that. I mean, there's nothing worse than watching a club slowly die and go out of business. I mean, you look at the States and the NFL with teams moving towns and moving to different places. That's unheard of. I mean, look what happened when Wimbledon moved to Milton Keynes. Do you know what I mean? And I'm watching Bolton just slide down, and we've been in that situation. We've been in that absolutely god awful position. And like Vic says, there are people out there that are fans like us, and they don't deserve that. But if they're going to rely on people like Emil Heskey, somebody's got to stand up and be counted for it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh no, Jeeves, we're going to need some more equipment.
Then you need to speak to Oddballs, a speciality.
What the?
Oddballs, a speciality deal in steel, food, and engineering equipment.
Where's that voice coming from?
We offer great deals on all types of equipment and can include dismantling, delivery, and erection anywhere in the world.
Did he just say erect?
We can also buy your surplus equipment or sell it on commission. With over 30 years' experience, let us achieve the best deal for you.
Where can I find out more, Voice in the Sky?
Go to www.bentoria.com.
You heard him, folks. Jeeves, get a broom. Right then, ladies and gents, so we've got an incredibly special guest this evening. We've only got Reda Johnson on the line with us. Hi there, Reda. How the devil are you?
Hello, you're right.
Reda.
Follow the Reda, follow the Reda. Yes.
So nice to join us. Thank you so much, Reda.
Thanks to you. Thank you.
No, thank you. So if it's okay, we just start off with a few questions about you, first of all, Reda. Obviously, young man born in Marseille. Were you brought up in Marseille as well as a young boy?
Yes, exactly. I'm born in Marseille, and I grew up there. So I had most of my life living there. So it's good.
So did you grow up with a love for Chris Waddle?
Yes, he is.
Yes.
Everyone know him in Marseille. He's a big legend. I know he's a legend for Sheffield Wednesday, but in Marseille he's like a big cult hero because he won. He is a man. Him and Basile Boli, everyone loves them.
Absolutely. And did you have a Chris Waddle poster on your wall growing up, Reda? Please tell me.
I'm not going to lie, I didn't have one before, but
But you do now.
But the good thing is, like, every time I was playing for Sheffield Wednesday, I could see him, met him, so I had a chance to meet him a few times at Sheffield, so that was very pleasant for me because he is my idol, one of my idols.
I was almost as starstruck when I met Chris Waddle as I am now speaking to you, Reda. So obviously you started your career off in France and eventually came over to the UK. Was it Aberdeen that you first went to?
No, the first time I was going to sign for Aberdeen, so I was on trial, to be fair, with Aberdeen because they were going to buy me from Amiens, my club in France.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing a trial. They accept to buy me, and at the last moment, Plymouth came and they offer more money than Aberdeen. So I just signed for Plymouth.
Fantastic. Of course, you had a few good years at Plymouth before Alan Irvine came knocking on your door as well. And of course, eventually came over to the Wednesdays. How does that sort of process work, really? Was it sort of a good move, a move you were looking forward to at that time?
Yes, a very good move. At this moment, I had I could move to Crystal Palace or Millwall, who were in a championship, but Sheffield Wednesday came and to be fair, I was sure to go to play for Sheffield Wednesday when I wasn't sure to play for Crystal Palace. So I just decided to sign for Sheffield, and I know how big was this club because I played that season against Sheffield. I remember you had Marcus Tudgay in front
Absolutely.
and Luke Varney. So I remember the atmosphere. It was unbelievable. So I was like, no, I have to sign for Sheffield, and that's it. After I signed, and it was unbelievable. I was just unlucky to don't play a lot with Alan Irvine, who was, I think, a good manager, but he's been sacked after maybe 1 month.
Yeah, he wasn't there long at all, was he?
Reda,
No.
just to clarify, I've lived in Sheffield and I've also lived on the south coast and I've also lived in Croydon. And in terms of making the choice of where you went, not signing for Crystal Palace made for a better home life because it is, like some people refer to East Anglia in this country as the rump. Croydon is clearly the anus. And you made the best choice there by moving to Sheffield. Like normally at this point, I know we got asked to. We said we were going to get you on the show, and some of the guys were saying, "Does anybody want any questions?" Now, normally at this point, I would have already asked you, who's your favourite member of Little Mix is? What's your favourite Take That song? Or something mundane like, should I use an oil-based radiator or use the gas heaters? But I'm going to ask you an actual football question here, Reda. Do you believe or do you think that injuries hampered your Sheffield Wednesday career more than you'd have liked? And, would you still be able to do a job for us given the players we've got? And I mean it in a great way, because I was a huge fan of yours. I used to call you Rampage Reda because you always looked like Rampage Jackson when you were tearing down that left-hand side. Rampage Jackson, who was Mr. T in the 18 film. Yeah.
Yes, I know.
I mean, you had an unlucky time with injuries towards the back end of your Sheffield Wednesday career, no?
Yes, I had some few injuries, and the problem is I was always playing through injury. When I was injured, I didn't have time to come back to get fit first. So the truth is, and all the players who were here know that it's I wasn't training all the week, coming on a Friday for pre-match and playing the Saturday. So my body couldn't be fit for the game, and I was getting injured. And same when I was injured, sometimes when the doctor said you have to rest for 2 months, I was resting for 3 weeks and trying to come back. So it wasn't right, but things happen. I grew up now, and I won't do the same mistake. But it's life. It's like that's football. But yes, I think I was too much injured for stay with Sheffield. But I could, to be fair, if I'm honest, I think I could stay playing for Sheffield Wednesday after my 3 years and a half.
I'd agree with you. I remember it was Clinton Morrison who tweeted, "It's so frustrating being injured because you never really catch up," and I'm assuming that's correct. Yes.
Yes, exactly. But when depends the managers you've got. Some managers will leave you the time to just recover and come back when you're fit. But I was unlucky that managers wanted me to be on a pitch, so I never really had the time to recover properly from my injury. And for the last 2 years with Sheffield Wednesday, it was always the same injury on my quad, and just because I didn't took the time to come back properly.
Is that the injury that you've had an operation on now, Reda?
No. The surgery I had, I had a bad tackle against Blackpool 5 minutes before the end of the game. I was very unlucky. The guy.
Did you do the tackle, or did somebody
No.
else?
No.
Was it Gary Taylor Fletcher?
When I said I'm very unlucky, it's because the striker tackled me. I never see a striker tackle. But
Striker's tackle.
yeah, the striker was like, I think it was a young striker who just came on. He didn't even touch the ball yet, and I don't know if he tried to impress his manager, but he tackled me, missed the ball, and took my leg.
Because that's quite a nasty scar that you've got there. I mean, you have tweeted it because people didn't believe you, did they? But it looks
people
like a
didn't
nasty
believe me.
operation.
I was sleeping for 6 hours. People can't believe me when I said it was a 6-hour surgery. When I wake up, my physio was here, and he watched all the surgery, and he told me he was going to fall asleep. that was so that was a long surgery, but everything is fine now. I'm back. I'm working. No more crutches, so I'm happy.
Reda, I've got a feeling I know what the answer to this is going to be, but
Okay.
what would you pick out as the highlight of your time at Sheffield Wednesday?
Promotion with Sheffield Wednesday.
Hey.
What was that
course.
like? Because for us as fans, obviously it was magical watching it all. When you're a player and you've put the work in and you've got the reward at the end of it, what does that feel like?
It was just unbelievable, but it was more unbelievable because the squad was unbelievable. Sometimes you can get like a promotion with some players who don't like each other, but we loved each other. And after that, we've been in holidays all together. I remember I've been to Marbella all together. Now, it was just unbelievable when you see like the spirit of some players who are still here, like Semido. It was just, everyone wanted to win. Everyone wanted to, and that's good. But now everyone done his way. Like Danny Bath, who is doing very great with Wolverhampton. There is a lot of player, Mikel Antonio, who's been away. So
I'm sorry, Reda. You've genuinely just made Wolverhampton sound very sexy with your accent there. The people that live there do not pronounce it as sexy as you. That was impressive. If you are listening, folks, rewind that and have another listen. It was beautiful.
Yes. I don't know what I have to say.
Do you still keep in touch with any of those players now then, Reda?
Yes, I stay in touch a lot with Jeremy Elan, who's still at Sheffield Wednesday.
Jeremy.
Now Jeremy is a very, very good lad. Achinuyu is my boy. He was living in my house, so
I am so jealous right now.
Oh, really?
I want
You like
Ate to
Achi?
live in my house. I want to be his mum.
Really?
I want to make
Are
sure
you sure
he's
you want
okay.
to be his mum?
Yeah. He's just such a cute, happy little man. Well,
I
big
bet
man.
he's a little tearaway. I bet he
Yeah.
brings women home at all sorts of
Oh.
hours, brings his
I bet
friends
he's a
back at 3
bugger.
a.m.
No,
Gary
he's not like
Medina's
that at
got
all.
nothing on Ate.
Gary Madin?
Yeah, he's. In fact, actually, Reda, could you tell us about Gary Medina and any other Sheffield Wednesday players that you played with that were your, like they said, it's Helan was a good friend of yours. I mean, anybody else that was a huge character?
I'm going to be honest with Gary Madin. He is like a misunderstanding boy. He is like unbelievable. I think he is so great. He is so. Everyone who knows him will tell you like he is a very good lad.
Oh, really? That's great to hear.
Honestly, after he paid for his mistakes, but outside that, I mean, when he's like with the lads, when he plays football, he's just like a good boy, who wants to learn and become better.
We played Bolton Wanderers last night, and
He scored.
He scored. But I think what was encouraging, and I think what it says a lot about our fans, is how well received his performance was. We were actually quite complimentary about him, a good chunk of us. Did you find that the Sheffield Wednesday fans themselves are an optimistic bunch, or did you find a big chunk of us just like moaning about a lot of things? I mean, you're on Twitter, you see a lot of things. And
Yes.
are we a lot more intense than other clubs, or is it rife across the board? This type of feedback you'll get on social media.
No, I have to be honest. The Wednesday fans are very like intense. They love
In a good way or a bad way, Reda?
No, in a good way. They love the club. They want to fight for the club. They want the club to go far. So that's very good. I have to be honest. There is some clubs where you can see like 20,000 fans coming to watch a game, but they sit down and it looks like a boring game. And so, I like to say like the players are making the game, but the fans too. And in some clubs, it's not happening. So yeah, I think Sheffield Wednesday are a big part of the of what Wednesday is now. Now Wednesday is a big club, and we have to thank the fans for that. But
When you say a big club, would you say massive or?
big, massive club. But I have to say something. I'm really sorry about what's happened. I think 2-3 weeks ago with Jack McGoma. I see him a lot. I spoke to him because he's in Birmingham. He's next to me, and like the fans boo him when when he was playing for Sheffield Wednesday. He was always giving his best. So that's when I don't really understand, because an example, Gary Madin done some bad things, but you appreciate him more than Jack Magoma, who
Yeah, I know
didn't
what
do
you mean
anything.
there, definitely.
So that's bad for the player because he could leave the club and sign for Birmingham and have like good memories about Sheffield Wednesday, and he will have. But the only things he will remember it's like they boo him every time he will come back to play for at Hillsborough, and that's bad for a player who never done anything.
Are we one of those clubs, Reda, that on a good day, it's the best team in the world to play for, but on a bad day, we really, really make you feel it, don't we? Like, I don't mean me personally, but I mean, as fans, we really get on people's backs if they make one bad pass, one bad tackle.
I know.
It's so much passion.
On my first game at Hillsborough, I was so afraid. That was my first game, and I play with a partner. Sorry, I don't remember because I play only 1 week with him. Then he's been to Millwall. I don't know if you remember his name, centre back.
No.
Oh, Darren Pearce.
Darren Pearce, exactly.
There we
Yes.
go.
Yes.
There's the girl with the answer.
There
there,
he is,
boys.
big Darren.
Exactly. So
Shiniest head in football.
that was my first game at Hillsborough, and for 90 minutes, all the fans were like, every time he was touching the ball, boo, 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 and I was so afraid. I was like, if every game is like that, I have to care about the ball. I can't miss anything, and because I don't want to say it because of that, but on that week. He had a move. He's been on loan to Millwall, and I was like, "Wow, that's a big club. I have to be good." so yeah.
You started your Sheffield Wednesday career incredibly well, of course, Reza. On your league debut, you scored against Charlton to sort of salvage a point. Ended up being a two-piece draw. So that must have put some shine on you coming to Hillsborough.
Yes, no, I was very pleased. My first game, to be fair, it was in Cup. Yeah, we won 3-0 against Bristol away, and then we come to Hillsborough, and yes, I was pleased. I won a penalties and I scored, so that was that was good. But yeah, very very happy. That day, I remember I was still sleeping in a hotel. I was like, I couldn't sleep, to be fair. I was like, wow, what a massive club I signed, and since that day, I fell in love with this club.
Reda, I have one question for you. That obviously everyone's going to ask what's your most memorable game and goal and things like that. But is there one team talk that stands out to you, like a halftime or a pre-match team talk that really, really meant something to you, that proper riled you up?
If I have to pick one, I will say it with Gary Maxson. With Gary Maxson, we watch a movie just before the game. He stopped the light in the dressing room, so we were like, it was strange. And a Japorama came, and we watched everything we done, the good thing we done this season, and it was very emotional. You could see like Semido a bit crying.
Wow.
Oh, no, Semido is very no. I will say nothing. And
carry on, Reda.
So we watched this just before the game. Then we've been on the pitch and we battled Sheffield United 1-0. So that was good.
That is the best story I've ever heard about Gary Megson, by the way. Because when we signed Gary Megson, he had a bit of an unfortunate time with Nottingham Forest, and I was a bit, and I'll not lie, I was a bit underawed by the signing. I know that a lot of Sheffield Wednesday fans remember him playing for the club.
I'm about to boo you there, Fudge.
But
Gary Megson.
I was a little bit like, I just thought it'd be silly. But then when you saw a man. I mean, were you aware that his time was kind of numbered with Sheffield Wednesday? Did he say anything, or did he just puff his chest out and get on with the work? Did you think as a player that he might be on his way out after that game?
No, because when you beat Sheffield United, you're thinking like, no, it's not possible. When you beat Sheffield United, you win 1 more year contract. Usually.
No, that's what we thought.
That's what we thought.
10-year contract.
And to be fair, he's been sacked, and I didn't really have the chance to see him straight after that because it's been like I think he left straight away, so no chance to see him after that. But he was a great manager with his own thing. We were a lot running, going to the hood every Tuesday, running. It was crazy. And to be fair, I remember one day when we've been for running, and we lost him. We couldn't find him, and so we just decided to left. So we took the minivan. We all left, and when we were not far, not far to the training ground. We just saw him like sweating, and he said, "Where have you been? Where have you been?" No, he's just, but he was a very good, funny manager. It was hard, but very funny.
Of course, we couldn't let an interview with Reda Johnson pass without mentioning your PFA Player in the Community Award in 2014. Obviously, you've had a fantastic footballing career, but what was that like, really, to be recognised for your charity work, if you like?
Yes, exactly. So I was very happy to get this award, and yes, I was happy, but I was more happy to to do what I done, and same if I didn't get any award, because when you do this, you don't do this for get any award.
It's obvious, Reda, that you loved your time at Sheffield Wednesday, and you had a great relationship with the fans. On that day where you got the phone call and you found out that the club were releasing you and letting you go, how did that feel?
Mm, it didn't feel anything, because at the end of the season, I had a meeting with Stuart Gray, who explained me exactly what was going to happen. So like I said, I could stay playing for Sheffield Wednesday, but not on the same term that I was. So I just said like, good luck and all the best. So to be fair, I just decided to leave, because I think I was, because I know the wage I know the wage some other players were, and I was just like thinking like they were playing with me. So I just decided to leave.
Yep.
That's super interesting, that, by the way. I really want to pick your brains about it all day. Now,
You're not allowed to, Fudge.
no, I appreciate this is a Sheffield Wednesday podcast, but I just want to touch upon you're now playing for Coventry City, and Marcus Tudgay is a colleague of yours, but also ex-England international Joe Cole. Now, can you see if, I always use Joe Cole as an example, that had he been brought up in Spain, he would be as big as Lionel Messi. And everybody always laughs at me because we have this culture in this country of if you're not big enough, you don't play football. And does Joe Cole have that quality? I mean, does he still have that touch?
Yeah, he's got that touch. He scored maybe 1 month ago an amazing free kick. So no, he still have the quality. He is a bowler. After, yes, of course, he can play 90 minutes. So he just most of the time he play 50 minutes. And
He's getting a bit old now, Ray. Is that what it is? I'm the same on a Sunday morning. You should come see me. What about Tudgay? Does he still have it? Is he still that hard-hitting, hard battler? I mean, I always thought that Marcus Tudgay could win some serious headers for a short guy.
yes, true. No, he's got some. Marcus. And I think you don't lose your ability. You might lose your power, but like when you were talking about Joe Cole, the ability stay. So yes, they still have it, and in front of the goal, he's still a goal scorer. After he's not playing as much as before, because there is some young players. We've got a young striker from Newcastle who is like I think best goal scorer of the league. So Adam Armstrong. So he's not. He
Yes.
doesn't have enough time of game. We've got another striker, Marc-Antoine Fortuné, who play in a Prem for long too. So yeah, he doesn't play as much, but he still have some quality, and it's good to have a big squad with a lot of players if we want to get promotion this season.
And we'd certainly love to see Coventry. Again, we speak about what a big club Sheffield Wednesday is, but of course Coventry's a big club as well. Spent, I think, a record amount of years in the top flight, and it's nice to be back in the Rico, I should imagine, as well, Reda.
Yes, sure. It's a big club with a big stadium. Who is not Earth, but it's a big it's a big club, and we've got big fans too who follow us, who are in League One, and like yesterday I think it was like 16,000. But for a League One club, it's all right, to be
Absolutely.
fair, for a Tuesday night. And no, we're doing well at the moment, and the most important thing is we've got a good squad who listen. A very good manager. Tony Mowbray is an excellent manager who know how to play, and yeah, we know. If you watch Coventry play, you will see like it's very pleasant. We keep the ball and we create a lot of chances, so it's nice.
So, Reda, before we let you go, because we've dragged it out now for a while, bless you, you probably want to get back to your friend. I just want to ask, after football, so what are your plans after your career's ended in the football field? Like, are you wanting to go into coaching? Are you wanting to go into teaching? Is there any sort of plan there, or are you just going to sit back and lay on a bed of dollar notes and just go, I'm fine?
I thought about two things and about football agent. Yes, I love football, so maybe football agent or coach. I've just started my B license, so we will see if I can become a good manager. But I don't know yet. We will see.
Well, I think I speak on behalf of all of the Wednesday fans and I say we wish you the best of luck and thank you so much for coming on tonight and thank you for being such a Wednesday legend.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
Reda Johnson, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, Reda.
Thanks, Reda.
Nice one. Have a good night.
Genuinely,
Yes.
thank you very much. I really, actually, genuinely, really enjoyed that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just before you go, what is your favourite Take That song?
My favorite song?
Yeah, your favourite song. Preferably Take That, but any song at all.
Follow the Reda.
Yeah, that's my favourite as well. I thought it was just me saying that.
Thank you, Reda.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Reda.
Bye.
Right then, ladies and gents. So, just
Wow.
Wow.
And he said, yeah, and then he came on, and then we talked to him, and then he was just there.
Yeah. He made Wolverhampton sound lovely.
How good was that? Now, of course, we didn't want to be too pushy with Reda because it was a fantastic woman to come on. But one thing we didn't really want to mention while he was here is the photograph that he posted for the Coventry fans that weren't being too nice to him.
I want to know if that was tuna. Was that tuna who was eating? I know we didn't ask him. I should have asked him. I might just text him later.
It was.
By the
It
way,
wouldn't be
Reda,
funny if it
thanks for
wasn't
coming
tuna.
on, but what a great guy. Brilliant. Reda Johnson.
That never works when we're doing it on Skype. Right then, ladies and gents. So let's crack on, shall we? Of course, we've got some transfer news coming up as well. First things first is Mr. Hunt has signed on a permanent basis from Crystal Palace. Oh my word! See that?
That's a much better name for them. Crystal Palace.
So hang on, tonight we've referred to Croydon being the anus of the UK, and their only club you've referred to as a massive penis. That is absolutely mental.
That sounds like some posh spice are keeping a drawer. It's like a posh version, isn't it? It's not Ann Summers. It's a Crystal Palace. It's an M&S Palace.
It's an M&S Palace.
If you look back through the Sheffield Wednesday Twitter feed, you'll see that Fessy has won, of course, which would normally come in a little bit later, but Fessy has won.
Fessy has a Crystal Palace.
He's won Player of the Month, and he got presented with
a big Crystal Palace.
Well, essentially looks like a Crystal Palace. Look at the photo.
Hang on, Lord H. It's me that does the knob gags round here. What the bloody hell's going off here?
I am treading.
At least it wasn't West Ham.
So, as I was trying to say before I utterly fluffed it up, Mr. Hunt has, of course, signed on a permanent basis from Crystal Palace on a 3.5-year deal. And I don't know about you guys and girls, but I think this is brilliant news. I really, really do. I'm
just impressed that in that statement it was Crystal Palace that you fluffed up and not Jack Hunt, because that could have gone seriously
I was
wrong.
Trying to be so careful not to mess that one up. That's why the Palace thing happened.
It's good business, isn't it? He's had some good games for us this season. I think he's still a long way from being the finished article, and I think that was probably shown a little bit last night because he didn't have the best of games last night up against the guy that we were talking about earlier on who had a bit of a blinder. But he's fitted in quite well. He's very fast. I think he works well down the right with Ross Wallace. So I think the fact that we've done something that maybe in the past we wouldn't have done. In the past, we'd have just kind of kept him on loan for the season and then tried to sort something out. We've moved fast. We've got him signed up. And I think, it's a good, tidy bit of business, that.
Hunt is finally now. moving on then, we've got Mark Davies rumours from Bolton. And now this is one that's been on, it's been off, it's been on, it's been off. There's been personal terms, there's been wage demands, there's been all sorts of nonsense. But
we're giving him a box.
Well, there was actually photographs of him in a box for the Bolton match with Mello and Matthias. So he was sort of. I'm sure that's where the players sit. They're not going to sit in the stands, are they? Of course not. But the photographs were there. But at the time of recording, it looks like it's still on.
I was quite underwhelmed with Mark Davies' name being banded around. I think we've got better midfielders. And I think you're right, Lord H. I'd rather put that money to somebody else and get somebody else who's a top quality player or a better quality player. I'd rather spend 1.5 million on a better player than two 750k players who are, not as good.
And that's fudge maths.
Isn't apparently the rumour now that Bolton are waiving the transfer fee, so they're giving him to us for free. So that we've got the extra 700 grand to spend on his wages.
That wouldn't surprise me. The kind of thing, unfortunately, Bolton just might have to do just to get him off the books and save the money, isn't he?
Because he's pretty much their highest earner, I think, because he's been there for a while, hasn't he? So yeah, that's what I've seen a few people saying on social media, that Bolton are effectively giving us the transfer fee back in order to supplement his wages to get him out the door.
Now, the other little rumour that's been flying about as well, which seems to have some sort of weight behind it, and again, these are all just rumours, ladies and gents, please don't quote us too much on these later on, is James Truolski, and I know I've pronounced that wrong, please don't let us know about it, who is the centre-back for Brentford. You might remember him because he got sent off against Sheffield Wednesday earlier on in the season. He was a chap that got showed the red. The figure that's been banded about for that is around about £5 million. There are other clubs interested, including West Brom, apparently. So there's a lot of clubs looking at him, and I mean that is one place we could do with spending a bit of money, isn't it?
It'd be a brilliant addition because he's a really good footballer. I know that there was a bit of talk when the Alan Judge kind of rumours started that we were actually going to go in for a kind of like a double swoop to try and get both of them in one deal. Although it seems like Brentford have put some pretty high price tags on their players. But yeah, I mean, we said before about needing to be thinking about who's going to be the long-term partner for Tom Lees at the back. He would be absolutely perfect for it. And £5 million is a lot of money to spend on a defender, but if he's going to be as useful to us as Tom Lees, I wouldn't object to it. I don't think it'll happen, but I wouldn't object to us spending that amount of money on a centre-half.
He's only 23, so if this is a partnership with Lees, who, of course, I think is around about a similar sort of age, if it's going to be something that's going to last 5 years, then it's a bond worth building, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right then, so we'll crack on with a bit more Wednesday news. One thing I'd like to bring up, which it did make me chuckle, of course, after the Bolton game, Carlos did one of his just incredible sort of post-match interviews. This time,
love him.
This was brilliant.
He likened the first half that Bolton controlled the music of the game. They put calm music on, and the team and the fans were listening to that. We followed the melody of the opponents. We were not happy at the break, so we tried to put on different music in the second half. We put on a little bit of rock. We opened them up. We took risks and tried to win. And with that kind of rock and roll, we could score goals, but so could Bolton. I mean, he's just
brilliant,
poetry, isn't it?
There's an article actually in the Sheffield Star online today. I don't know if it's in paper version, but there's an article about like his best 10 things that he said at Wednesday. He is just wonderful. Yes. Can I read you my favourite?
Please, Victoria, do.
Let me find it. In an orchestra, they have a saxophone, they have a piano, and they have the drums. We have some players who must be the drums. You can't have an orchestra that is just 11 people playing piano or all playing the drums. I'm going to get that tattooed. That is just life goals. That's brilliant, that.
My favourite was his quote about the second half against Cardiff where we pulled it back to 2-2. And it was something about how we put all our meat on the fire. No idea what the hell it meant, but it was brilliant.
Do you know, in Portugal, I read them out to some people at work today, 2 guys who I work with who aren't football fans. And I read them out, and they were both saying in Portuguese, but it's really sexy, like what he's saying. But when you translate it into English and into Yorkshire, it just sounds shit, doesn't it? If we could all learn Portuguese, we'd all be like besotted by him, wouldn't we? But the fact they say, "Oh, we put our meat on the fire," in Portuguese, it's like,
I'd like to apologise to all Portuguese fans listening if she said something offensive.
So that's Portuguese and French we've offended.
Yeah.
Any more nationalities we want to try and alienate this evening, or should we just stick with French and Portuguese?
No, we've got plenty of time in the season left yet, James.
Right, a little bit more Wednesday news. We have lost our senior operations manager, Mr. Paul Bell, to Leeds, apparently. Now, I don't want to come across as ignorant, which is, of course, very difficult for me to do, but I'm not exactly sure what a senior operation manager did. As far as I can tell, he did sort of chair the committee that the fans were invited to, which I've completely forgotten the name of.
Steering group.
Steering group. Thank
there
you,
go.
Victoria. You see, it's a good job somebody's on the ball this evening, isn't it, my dear? But other than that, I'm not sure exactly. I'm sure it was a very important role. Otherwise, we wouldn't have known about it.
Yeah, Paul Bell, I think, was someone that was already at the club when Mr. Chansiri took over. He was one of Milan Mandrik's appointments, so it's probably not a great surprise to see him moving on. You know, we've talked about the transfer committee over the last few weeks and how the chairman obviously is getting more confident about running the football club without needing so much help around him. So maybe he's quite confident that he can bring kind of his own person into that role, and it might end up being a really good thing for us. Whatever the hell is that role does, but it might be a good thing.
The Wednesday week is proud to be associated with Cavendish Cancer Care. Cavendish is a Sheffield charity dedicated to improving the quality of life for people living with cancer. No one should face cancer alone, so Cavendish provides emotional support through counselling and complementary therapies. The services they provide are free of charge and are funded through donations. If you can help or would like to find out more information, you can go to www.cavcare.org.uk. That's cavcare.org.uk.
Right then, ladies and gents, so as we have been recording, Monsieur Fudge has been sort of tweeterising away from our tweeting machine. I assume that's what it's called. And you've been knocking a few polls out there, Fudge, old boy.
I have. I was trying to. Well, I put out there who scored the Thunder Chuffer of the season so far. Winning that was with 51% of the votes was Matthias with his slap against Leeds. There was also bit of windy pops. There was also another tweet there that said, "Who is our special guest this evening?" And 76% of you got it right with Big Reda. And the best one was what was funnier? Mark Lawrenson saying penis instead of Pinot, or Lord H saying crystal phallus, and Mark Lawrenson's won that. So lovely stuff.
Right, so let's the last little bit of the evening, and of course we need to look forward to the Sheffield Wednesday Leeds game, which I know James is especially looking forward to. It is at a 12:30 kickoff, so the Leeds fans, and the Wednesday fans, of course, don't consume too much, and we have people running on the pitch trying to punch our goalkeepers.
Well, you say that, but what time have you demanded me at, James?
I believe we're meeting at 9:30.
Unbelievable.
Right, okay. I don't think it opens till 10. So.
No, he said he will open when we go up.
Oh right, well in that case, breakfast at 8.
Oh no.
So of course, if we looking at the actual football on there, it's Leeds, isn't it? There's very little rhyme or reason to this. It is a derby of sorts, it has to be said, and these things tend to be, although the last one wasn't fantastically fractious, they do tend to be more fractious at Hillsborough, don't they?
That's because they're all horrible shitbags. That's the reason it tends to get quite fractious. Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, it's not a nothing season for them. They could get still dragged into a relegation battle. If they threw some wins together, they could get back up towards the top end of the table, and the playoffs are not completely out of the question for Leeds. So they'll want to come here and they'll want to win. I think for us, we can go into it pretty confident that we're a better team, that we can beat them. As you say, it's a derby match, so a lot of the rules go out the window. But I'd like to think that we've got enough to be able to beat Leeds fairly convincingly on Saturday.
I think it's just going to be a draw. At the risk of being a naysayer, I think because they've got plenty to play for, we've got plenty to play for. I think we'll go at it and we'll really go at it. But I just think we'll end up cancelling each other out because, like you say, it's a local derby and all bets are off.
Absolutely. Right, so let's crack on. Last little bit of Wednesday news, which is incredibly serious. We've been rather jovial this evening, but so we've all seen on Facebook, on Twitter, was been around about Hayley's GoFundMe page for her cancer treatment. Of course, Hayley is married to Andy, who is the fitness coach at Sheffield Wednesday Football Club. This it's a heartbreaking story. She's a mum of four. It's not a heartbreaking story actually, because she's really fighting hard against this, and good on her for doing it. She's a mum of four, and she's been battling breast cancer since 2011. She was told a long time ago that quite simply she wouldn't be here now, and unfortunately all her treatment options within the UK have come to an end. So sort of looking forward, and the next step is off out to America and looking at some treatments out there. Of course, it's chuffing expensive to get out there and get the treatment, and essentially there's £50,000 minimum needed to be raised. Now, when we spoke last week on the podcast, we didn't know about this. It didn't exist. Now, Hayley has reached her target of £50,000 in 1 week, which is just
and more.
Absolutely, it's absolutely incredible, and of course it's not just Wednesday. Of course it's not, but the sort of Wednesday community that's been tweeting this and donating, and there's been players involved as well. Hutchinson's donated, Kieran Lee's donated.
Ross Wallace has given £1,000.
It's incredible.
Unreal.
It's absolutely incredible, and it's just so heartwarming to see things. There's poor lady that's going through such an awful time and really fighting hard against it, which we all would. But it's just so heartwarming, isn't it? Just to see.
First team coach or not, it's just our fans are unbelievable for that. I remember we had a guy who shaved his head for Cavendish. Probably a year ago now. David, who's a member of Owls Online. And he shaved his head and he raised £3,000 within like 2 weeks. And it's just because the fans just get behind you. I think that's something that as Wednesday fans we are so proud of. It's a proper community. It really, really is. And God bless her. I hope she gets everything she needs from America. Obviously, just to throw it out there, but her family are more than welcome to Cavendish. That is what we do. So if anyone needs to get in touch, just tweet me or whatever, I'm here. But unreal, absolutely unbelievable. And the fact that our players have got behind it as well. And let's not forget, a lot of ex-players as well have got behind this, including Mr. Medine. Just brilliant. Well done. Thank you.
And the fundraising isn't over yet. There is a Hursty's Bar ready to be done as well on Thursday, the 21st of January. Starts at 7 p.m, of course, at Sheffield Wednesday Football Club, hosted by John Pearson. And there's going to be, obviously, Mr. Hurst himself, Shez is going, and Chris Waddle's going to be there as well. And all the sort of funds from there are going to Hayley's appeal as well. So, again, just do a quick search for Hursty's Bar online and you'll see all the ticket details there too. Right then, ladies and gents, so that's just going to about wrap us up for this evening. Victoria, my darling, if people want to get hold of you over there on the onlineage, where can we do that?
Hello, my lord. You can get hold of me on the Twitters at Victoria1867, and I have just discovered, thanks to our new social media guy, Richard, I have discovered Periscope. Now, this is the best thing that has ever happened in the history of the Wednesday week. I can just video whenever I want. I had like 40 odd people tonight watching my dog barking. Like, what are you doing with your lives? So I'm either on Victoria1867 or at TWWcast, and either way, I'll video shit and just watch it. I mean, it's brilliant. I wish I got paid for it. Can we monetize Periscope?
I think there is a way you can get paid for sending videos of yourself, Vic.
No one are paid to watch them, trust me. Not even my other half.
Of course, if you want to get all you, James, over there on the online age, where can we do that, my old chap?
You can get me on Twitter at James Marriott, or invariably I get hauled into Vic's Periscope videos after I've drunk several pints. So it's quite funny. You get to see, me in my most drunken of states. So probably pre and probably post match on Saturday on Periscope in the background, pulling silly faces and mooning.
Aye.
I'm sure there's money to be made. And Fudge, of course, where can I find you on the online job being?
You can find me on the Twitter arty at Dan Fudge, or on Facebook if you want to come and give me a shout. I've not got any hilarious anecdotes, so just that. That's fine.
Of course, we would like to sort of officially announce our new social media chap, Richard Davies. Of course, you'll know him as at Dickie Owl over there on the Twitterage. So do give him a holler. And you can do that over there at TWWcast, or of course at Dickie Owl as well. Rich, thank you so much for jumping on board. We've been trying to get Rich on for chuffing years. One day we might even get him on the podcast, but we'll not hold his breath.
I got him on my Periscope. You don't want to brag there. He came on my Periscope.
That sounds mucky.
No.
Sounds really mucky. Sounds really mucky.
You got every chuffer in the pub on your Periscope. No one was safe.
Nobody's safe when Vic's about.
Poor old man in the corner was being broadcast across the world, whether he liked it or not.
He enjoyed himself. He was asking for a business card and we didn't have any.
Was he asking
loved it.
you for a business card? Oh.
He did ask my mum. He did ask old Babs. So who knows?
Of course, if you want to get hold of me over there on the Twitters, you can do that at Lord H. That's L0RD_H. And get on the podcast, of course, at TWWcast over there on Facebook as well. Hopefully, the Facebook page with Richard's help will become much more active now as well. We do realise that we sometimes do tend to neglect Facebook, and we apologise for that. Of course, you can pop over to our YouTube channel, see all the normal nonsense that happens over there as well. Get the podcast on iTunes, please do. Hit subscribe on iTunes and you'll get the pod fresh every week. It's always better when it's fresh. And of course, you can do that over there on the Podbean app as well. Ladies and gents, it's been a pleasure as always. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. That's amazing. It's been a pleasure. Be good, be safe, and we shall see you really soon.
There's a chance here, a great save. A turner from McClare. Might come. A terrific goal by Sheridan.
Brexman against Jones. Get in.
You could have two goalkeepers in there that would have trouble saving that.
C'est combien pour la nuit, ma pompe. I'll do that again. Otherwise, the French people just aren't going to get that joke at all. C'est combien pour...
Outtakes. I don't know why we're bothering.
I just love the way that you went. I'm going to do that again because otherwise the French people won't get it.
Because we have a Chris Waddle fans
French audience.
Going, did he just slag us off?